Hello and good afternoon to anyone watching this video. Bear with me a minute. Cheers, my ad. This is a video response to all Cardinal mindset leaders that go around claiming that if you want the best, be the best, which I don't have a problem with, because I'm currently putting in the work here and here, in order to live the life that the biblical manuscript has actually in fact promised on to me, as well as anybody else and everybody else that are currently seeking, as long as they're putting in the work, of course, in there and in there. And that we're to automatically ignore and look down upon those that are lower down, way lower down, those that are less fortunate to experience the lives that we're currently fighting for, whether it be due to homelessness, poverty, financial loss, family issues, relationship breakdowns, all of this. And I believe that's wrong. Now, to you worldly leaders out there, going on your own understanding, of course, you're going to come back at this video most likely and say what you have to say. But then I'm going to say what the biblical manuscripts have to say. And Jesus Christ actually in fact helped those that were lower down than him. And even those that did him wrong in the past, due to the faith of like-minded relations, or friends for that matter. In other words, their faith captured the presence of God in here and in here. Therefore, Jesus gave them what they wanted, because their faith was strong, and he could see that their friend or their relation was actually in fact struggling, whether it be due to demonic possession, illnesses of all types. So I don't want to be hearing you leaders out there saying, oh, we're to avoid all of the negative like-minded people, that don't really want to live a life within accordance to the Bible. They just want to keep on seeking death and destruction and all of these things. I don't want to be hearing any of that. I don't care how many times a day my soul is depleted, because I'm going to continue the will of God. And if the will of God suggests that we are to help the poor, then we are to help the poor, and not just focus on all of these bigger and better things in life, because that right there is narcissistic behavior. You are displaying narcissism. You are putting your own needs, your own desires, your own wants upon a pedestal. And what happens when people put themselves on a pedestal? They look down upon the poor. They look down upon those that genuinely need help of some sort, included support, that is. And that's wrong. That is not the way we were created nor designed to be within accordance to the biblical manuscripts. And I'm sharing this video to help you worldly leaders out that have this mindset. Oh, well, because we're better, and we have everything, we could look down upon the poor now. We could avoid those that genuinely need help and support because of the effects that they have on our psychological and spiritual health, and that's wrong. That right there is greed. That alone, I guess, comes across as domestic abuse in some case. You don't even need to get physically hands-on with someone to display domestic abuse. Well, no, we'll take that back. It's not domestic abuse, it's emotional and psychological abuse. All these people need, essentially, is a swift kick up the arse in order to point them in the right direction into getting their lives sorted out. They don't need us chosen, as you will, to look down upon them, talking from past experiences. And the rest, out there that claim to be chosen, but yet still look down upon the poor. Don't even give them the time of day. Go on their own desires, their own needs, their own wants. Puts themselves upon a pedestal before everybody else. These leadership skills and abilities are nothing more than career-driven skills and abilities. And whatever you display as a worldly leader, you shall reap back through other people. I can't stress this enough. If you are a chosen one, for real, if you are a chosen one, if you are one of God's anointed, you would stop leaning upon your own understanding. You would purchase a King James Bible, apply it to your lives, as well as seek after the presence of the Lord via the Holy Spirit. And if the biblical manuscripts evidently suggest that we are to help the poor, whether it be poor in finance, poor in housing situations, clothing situations, relationships slash friendship situations, and all of these things, then we are to help the poor, not brush them off. Oh yeah, look, I'm a chosen one, therefore I'm above you. That's not a chosen one. You are clearly a worldly programmed leader that puts your own self before everybody else. Now, to some extent, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because putting yourself, first is actually in fact healthy. Especially when the world doesn't give a rat's flying butthole, about us real leaders, as you will. It's necessary. But when it's every single time, when it's done every single day of the week, one, you're not acknowledging other people. I guess you can call yourselves closed-minded. Closed-hearted as well, when it comes down to going after things in order to make your life for yourself, which again, as long as it's within correspondence to the Bible, I want everyone to succeed and fulfill in doing. But we can't go around excluding the poor, because we are essentially abusing the will of God. Therefore, we are becoming an enemy of God. Because we are placing ourselves upon a pedestal which only attracts demonic influences later on, up to the point now we're looking down upon all of the poor, all of those that genuinely need support. And that is not how a real leader was created to be. So fellas, stop leaning upon your own understanding. I can't stress this enough. Pick up a copy of the King James Bible, apply it to your lives, and start helping the poor. Start helping those in need. I mean, yes, it can be tiring a lot of the time, and it can be depleting even, and it can even put us in situations, you know, that we may even get frustrated over later on. But what you're failing to realise and understand is you have a relationship with God. Therefore, even if you were depleted and you virtually had nothing positive to take from that day, you have everything you need through God the Father and His Son Jesus Christ via the relationships that you have already. And this is why a lot of us, we conflict our own consciences, because we are looking down upon the poor and the needy. And that is not how men, leadership men, were designed and created to be. I mean, look at the government that we have now. We already have that within the House of Commons. I mean, do we need that on the streets as a contribution? No, we don't. Now, I've had my rant, I've said what I've had to say, and again, you can bash this video, you can do whatever you want, you can even say whatever you want, you have free will, but I will come at you with sound biblical truth, and I will have you looking like a fool. Up to the point where you either block me because I've exposed you for the wolves that you really are, or you unfriend me in order to reflect deeply on this video that I'm about to share, on all of the videos that I've shared within the past few days up to a couple of weeks. I'm going through mind shifts right now, and I'm going through heart transformations as well. And this is genuinely God speaking through me. Because as real leaders, we're not designed and we're not created to look down upon the poor. Because that right there displays narcissistic personality disorder. It also displays that, oh, well, I'm better than everybody else. Oh, yes, well, pass me down that golden crown full of jewels, and place my soul upon that golden chair, while I look down upon these peasants and watch them scurry around crying for God's mercy. Do you realise how satanic that actually comes across? You don't, because you are spiritually blinded into believing that your leadership skills and abilities are worldly. And they are not worldly. They are within accordance to biblical manuscript. And there you have it, folks. So, once and for all, stop leaning upon your own understanding. Pick up a copy of the King James Bible and start applying it to your lives, and then you will see the real miracle of God work through you. But you have to put in that work. You can't just lean upon your own understanding, display arrogance by convincing yourselves, oh yes, well, I don't need to read no Bible. Really? Well, okay, then if you don't read, if you don't need to read any Bible, then you're just going to be a worldly leader. You're going to fail every time. You're going to place your own needs, your own wants, your own desires above everybody else's. You're going to constantly look down upon the poor, thinking you're better than them, and your life is fake. And I don't care whether I've hurt anybody's poxy feelings and emotions by sharing this video. It is what it is. Because unlike you clowns out there, I don't go on feelings and emotions. I use my fleeting feelings and emotions in order to build emotional maturity, emotional intelligence. Therefore, if a man has that, we can connect correctly via the Holy Spirit. Putting aside any indifferences of opinions, clashes of personalities, and God knows what else. And there you have it. So, stop leaning upon your own understanding, man, or I'm gonna whoop your ass.